Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. In today's video, I want to talk about disjointed hitboxes. Now, everything in the game has a hitbox. Any kind of attack, even standing still, has a hitbox, right? So as the most basic example, since we have Leo here, stand slash, this guy right here, hey, here's the hitbox for it, right? So the little blue bits are the parts where you, the player, can be hit. And the red part is where you, the player, can hit the enemy. Now, you might notice here that the red is sort of inside the blue, right? That's how this works for the overwhelming majority of moves in this game, where basically you can be just hit outside of the range of where your move hits. So this lets you, like, counter poke moves, all that kind of stuff, or hit people at the edge of the moves, all that, right? It's a core conceit of the game. And what we call a disjointed hitbox is when that is not the case. So let's take Leo again as our example here, and the move where he's in his guard stance, and then when you attack out of it, and he does this like kind of double uppercut here, right? So this move has a disjointed hitbox. So the move, the red part of the hit, is well outside of the blue part of the hitbox. So the hurt box, the blue part, that's the part where you get hit, is well behind the part where you can hit the enemy back. So let's use Kai here as our example here. He's going to poke, right? And say we're at a range where either of us, we would both whiff, right? But if we try to hit each other at the same time, well, we hit each other at the same time. Well, it's that simple, right? Because what's happening is our hitbox is hitting the opponent's hurt box, while the opponent's hitbox is hitting my hurt box, because they're both extended outwards during this scenario. However, if I take my move with a disjointed hitbox, so the part where I can be hit is well behind the actual attack, things are gonna change. So once again here, Kai is just barely gonna whiff, that's fine, and I'm gonna be in my stance. And what happens is I just crush him clean as day. Once again, here, while I'm doing this move here, the only part of me that's hittable as Leo is the part that is behind my weapons. The actual weapons themselves, that's all hitbox. So for Kai, who's extending his hurt box by attacking, that just means in this scenario, I'm basically going to win every single time. Like, that's just how it's going to be. Now, the next thing I want to go in this video is basically just showcase some of the most insane disjointed hitboxes. But before we get to that, just to talk some more, everybody has these to some degree or another, right? Your 6P move, right? That is also a disjointed hitbox because it has the upper body invincibility, right? So basically only your knees and down can be hit while you're doing a 6P for, whatever character, doesn't really matter. That is a disjointed hitbox across the board. That's that simple, right? Some characters, down and heavy, normally meant to be an anti-air, they have a slight disjointed hitbox in that the hit part that can hit the enemy is a little bit ahead of the part of you that can be hit. Although it's different character to character, and some characters don't even have it. Leo is an example here, as you can see the little hitbox here. And by the way, all these are very much thank you to dustloop.com, as they're the source of all these. Check them out. Great site, great resource. You can find a lot of this info there, very handy for sure. But yeah, so lots of down heavies, either they have a slight disjoint or they don't have a disjoint at all, right? So these exist in the game no matter what. Everyone has at least the one in 6P, and depending character to character, like Leo here, as we talked about here, his little guard stance attack here, that's the disjointed hitbox as well. But that all said, now let's go over some of the more crazy ones. So, keeping with Leo, that's why we have Leo picked, one of the crazier, more disjointed attacks in the game is his back turn P. Because his back turn punch basically is exactly like a 6P, in that it has a lot of upper body invincibility. It actually, the part where you can hit him, and I'll show the hitbox here, is basically below his waist. So to show you a quick example here, I have the Kai bot set to do a very deep jumping slash attack. Very, very deep, almost as low to the ground as you can do it. And now let's see how just interacts with back turn stand P. So did you see that? It just went right through me because I purposely tried to do it late. So the hitbox didn't actually touch him. But yeah, so I was just effectively invulnerable to the attack. And if I do actually touch him, well, there's basically no possible way this move can beat my stand punch because it simply doesn't hit low enough to the ground. And if you hit them up like high enough, you can actually get a juggle from this. All really depends on the spacing, all that kind of stuff, right? But yeah, so you actually have a defensive option other than the back turn shield. And the back turn shield's very good, don't get me wrong, right? But this actually lets you bulldog through a lot of stuff. Almost everybody, they forget this button exists. Like you just have the 3 buttons, right? Kick, slash, heavy slash. This actually has a lot of utility and is a form of defense besides the shield, thanks to its upper body invincibility. Oh, you know we had to pick Soul, right? Everything's crazy about Soul, and one of the craziest things is the forward and slash command normal. This move is an incredibly disjointed forward-facing attack. Basically, all the part of the move that can hit you is there's nothing there. You cannot hit him back. Unlike poor Kai, when he wants to poke you, he's putting his life at risk, putting his hurt box forward to be hit. Soul, nah. No risk, no fuss, no muss. The part where you can hit Soul is way behind the actual attack itself. So if you're trying to challenge this on the ground, good luck, buddy. If you're airborne, sure, whatever. It's a low to the ground hitbox. But if you're challenging this ground to ground, he's using it at the range, like the tip of the move, you're simply not going to beat it. End of story. The move is absurd and ignorant. Now, Potemkin, perhaps Potemkin is not a character you maybe would have thought would have made this list, right? But he's here for sure and very well deserved because of Garuda Impact. Garuda Impact is an absolutely crazy move. Have a gander at the hitbox on this guy. So the part where the gunshot's happening like all through his arm forward, that's all attack, that's all hitbox. The part where you can hit Potemkin back, the hurtbox, is well behind that. What does this mean? Well, it means something very basic and simple for many of his setups. If I do something as simple as just simply, pressure you on to wake up, what Potemkin's all about, nah, you ain't gonna get out of it. There's no way out. You cannot get out of it because, hey, that was your invincible to strike moves. How well did that work out? If I'm a bit slow on my timing, all that's gonna happen is you're gonna whiff, and this is a guaranteed punish. We're back into it again. And worst case scenario, depending on the timing, I just clash with your reversal and I still chuck you, or I can go for a Potemkin Buster or whatever, right? You can't really deal with it. You have to accept it. Well, rooflemonger, I'm just going to backdash it then, That's invincible. No, you're not. Because on top of having a massive disjointed hitbox, it also has a hojillion active frames, and backdashing it is not going to happen. You're not going to jump out of it. You're not going to reversal out of it. Some characters, depending on the state of their invincibility on super reversals, maybe. Depends. But regular reversals, not a chance in hell. You just have to take this move, right? And due to the way it works, you can kind of hide behind the move. If you want to do like Kara Busters, or rather Kara Garudas, you just slide forward with this giant wall of hitbox, and your hurtbox is safely behind it, right? So unless they're already on top of you, not going to do too much about it. So yeah, Garuda Impact, one of the strongest disjointed hitboxes moves in the game. Okay, you probably suspected May was going to be here, right? And you're right, but probably for the wrong reason, because we're not talking about Jump Heavy Slash. Jump Heavy Slash, despite what you think, actually is not a disjointed hitbox. What it is just a huge hitbox. But like many other moves, the hurtbox is just as big as the hitbox, right? So that's not the case. We're talking about crouching heavy slash here. Because of all the anti-air crouch heavy slashes, this is easily the best one in the game. Now, why is that? Two-factor. One, once again here's the hitbox. Super disjointed, way above her head, right? It does cover a bit of an arc going through it, but either way, any part of the arc, the hitbox is way above the part where she can be hurt. And she's also extra low to the ground while doing it. Many other 2Hs, down heavy slashes, they are not that low to the ground at all, and some of them don't even have a disjointed hitbox, right? So May has a huge disjointed hitbox, and she is very low to the ground. So what does that mean? It means when you jump, you die. End of story. The only way for her not to anti-air you, basically with this move, is if she is like so slow, like has to wait till like last possible second. If she's on the ball at all, she will blow you out of the sky for free, guaranteed. She also can get some incredible damage off this, by the way. Like, have a gander at this. Look at that. Oh, that's gross. That is gross. And, well, you probably saw the thumbnail, so our final pick here, Giovanna. Lord, oh Lord. Her sweep, this is basic sweep, not a special move, not nothing, is perhaps one of the most, if not the most, disjointed attack in the game. The hitbox hits so insanely far ahead of where Giovanna actually is. It's ridiculous. Like, I know you probably don't think of her as like the poke character, the neutral slash footsies character, but trust me, with this, she can do it. Maybe it's not the longest range attack in the game, although for what it is, it's actually quite long range, right? But man, she puts herself in very little risk while doing it because the hitbox is so insanely ahead of her. And she also gets decent stuff off counter hit as well. Like from very far away, you can get something like that. From a little bit closer, you can get something like that. It's pretty good. And once again, here, same with Potemkin as we talked about earlier, because the attack is so insanely disjointed, it makes her very, very, very safe from a lot of wake-up reversal options. So it's also defensive on top of being very offensive. And that is the magic of disjointed hitboxes. Once again, this is just some examples of some of the more egregious ones. Once again, check out dustloop.com if you want. Great wiki, great resource, has a lot of the hitboxes there, so you can see this stuff yourself. Also, a very universal concept in fighting games, hardly only Guilty Gear, right? So, you know, more popular in some games than others, right? You're more likely to see a disjointed hitbox in, say, a King of Fighters than you are going to be in a Street Fighter, but they exist in all kinds of fighting games. And sometimes they're great and very abusable, and sometimes they're really bad and the opposite, where the hurtbox sticks way out in front of a regular move, and you're going to get poked out of it all day long, right? So knowledge, as always, is power. And with that, I hope I have helped increase your knowledge of the game just a little bit. Anyways, my friends, that's the end of this video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Guilty Gear.
Love